So Pulp Fiction was released in October 14th of 1994. Now the principal photography commenced on September 20 of 1993. Now there's been some speculation that the silver Acura NSX was a 1992 model. So we kind of know that the model is either 91, 92, or 93. Also, we have a foundation for a color. Essentially, it looks like silver. Some people have debated that it was repainted and that it had like a lighter silver. But me personally, I think it was silver, and I think that the lighting of the photography or the film filter that they used or post-editing essentially made the car look different. But that, I think, is just the original silver color of the Acura NSX. If you think about it, Quentin Tarantino's original movie, this movie right here, was an independent film. So it wasn't a studio film where it had a lot of backing, a big budget. So I don't see why they would take an Acura NSX, and especially a new car of the era that's worth a lot, rip off the silver paint and repaint it just to get a lighter color. The color change that some people think is actually post-editing, in my opinion. So I took a screenshot of the original clip from the movie and I imported it into Adobe software. And what I was originally trying to do is I was trying to figure out if the top of the car was either black or silver. But in the process of doing that, I noticed something really important. Actually, something that nobody's ever figured out. And that's that the seats are actually a light color. Now, when you look at this picture, you can see that the steering wheel is black, the dash is black, but when you look at the contrast between the seat and the steering wheel and the dash, you could actually see that the seats are either an ivory or platinum color. Now, there is another piece of evidence that supports this. Whenever the two characters open the door, if you slow down the speed on the video, the side mirrors actually catch a quick glance of the interior, and you can clearly see that the interior is a light color, that the seats are a light color. So this was a silver car with platinum or ivory seats, and that is pretty cool because that's going to help us narrow down this car. And another piece of information that you need to see is that the car actually has the OEM exhaust, and that's going to be important for later on in the video. So we know that the car is silver between the years of 91 and 93, that it had a light ivory or platinum interior in it, and that had a stock exhaust. Now that we have that key information, we're going to start rolling into some assumptions. So the first assumption, and when I thought about this, I thought it was pretty genius because I was super pumped up. If you look at the video in the scene where the car takes off, well, first off, they overlaid the original Acura NSX sound. They put some type of high revving type of other car in there. So essentially they removed the sound of the Acura NSX and put a different sound clip in it. But this one, we know for a fact that it had a stock exhaust and that the sound was substituted. But then I started asking the question, why would they do that? Because the Acura NSX sounds pretty good. And then I noticed something that no one else has noticed. And luckily, I had a video to compare it with. When the Acura NSX takes off, if you watch it, the acceleration is linear, meaning that you guys who drive a manual car will immediately notice it when I tell you. When he took off and he went a distance long enough to switch into second gear, there was no shift of weight. So I wanted to make sure that I wasn't imagining this, and I found a perfect video on YouTube for Motor Week showing an Acura NSX taking off and going about the same distance pretty much, and you could clearly see when the driver shifts, the weight momentarily transfers. There's a shift of transfer, and the car kind of makes this kind of wobble from back to forth real quickly. Well, in the movie, this Acura NSX makes no movement like that. So there is a potential that this car was actually an automatic, because that really is one of the only cars that you could take off like that and still not have a shift of weight after going so long in the rev range. Now, this is an assumption because I can't verify this, but when you compare the two videos, you can clearly see that there's never a moment of shifting because the car doesn't move up and down. It just kind of goes straight to the right. So that's one of my big assumptions. So this guy on NSX Prime post, his name is 21 Acres, and he posts, I might have the Pulp Fiction car. He says that somebody sells him the car and that the guy told him it was part of Pulp Fiction. Anyone who has a movie car takes pride in that and essentially at least keeps one piece of document, some photos, a signature, anything, right? Anything. But then this guy showed a picture of the car that he claims that it was repainted. There is so many discrepancies, not even funny. First off, the center doesn't say Acura like it does in the movie. Also, this guy's car has an aftermarket exhaust. That's another thing as well. So you have missing parts that don't correlate with the car at all. This is not the Pulp Fiction car at all. So where is the Pulp Fiction car? Well, I know that there's a lot of guys out there in the NSX community that they keep registries. They have a lot of documentation, information about cars sold. So now that we have some additional information, hopefully maybe you guys could help figure out where this car is at. We know that it's silver, we know that it had a light interior, and there was a possibility that it could have been automatic. We don't know if that's true or not, but we know that that might help us narrow down the car. So now that we know those things, we could hopefully try to find this car one day and essentially bring it to light, because NSXs are awesome, the NSX community is awesome. And essentially, I found this super cool, and I kind of wanted to do deep dive research, and I was really excited when I found out some information. Will you guys let me know what you think? I'm excited to hear if you guys find out some additional information. Thank you for watching the video. Hit the like button, subscribe so I can still pump out some more videos like this, and you guys show me that support. And again, I appreciate it all. All right, guys, you take care, and we'll talk to you soon.